What if your pee could spill your deepest, darkest dietary secrets? Not just whether you're hydrated, but exactly how much junk food you've really been munching on. We all know that feeling, right? Trying to remember what you ate yesterday for that food diary. Was it one cookie or more? Well, scientists just unveiled something that makes those food diaries look ancient. They've found a way to biochemically score your junk food intake, and it's kind of shocking. For years, researchers trying to link diet to disease had a huge problem. Us. We're terrible at remembering or admitting what we eat, especially the not-so-healthy stuff. Ultra-processed foods. Think sugary cereals, fizzy drinks, frozen pizzas, basically anything in a crinkly packet that your grandma wouldn't recognize. Make up nearly 60% of calories in the average American diet. But measuring that intake accurately, it's been a nightmare. Until now. In a paper published just on May 20th, 2025, in PLOS Medicine, scientists announced they've identified patterns of molecules in blood and urine that act like a chemical fingerprint for ultra-processed food consumption. This isn't just one marker, it's a whole panel, a poly-metabolite score that gives an objective measure. Your body literally keeps a record. Imagine a lie detector test for your diet and you can't fool it. So how did they crack this code? Researchers used a fancy technique called metabolomic profiling. They took blood and urine samples from over 700 older adults who had also meticulously logged their food. Then, using high-tech machines and some clever AI, they sifted through over 1,000 different molecules, or metabolites, in those samples. They were looking for the telltale signs, the molecular breadcrumbs left behind by a diet high in processed stuff. And they found them. Hundreds of these tiny molecules correlated with how much ultra-processed food people ate. They then narrowed it down to 28 metabolites in blood and 33 in urine that together give a really strong signal. What kind of things are we talking about? Well, one star player was a molecule with a mouthful of a name, N6-carboxymethylacene. Let's just call it NCM. NCM is what's known as an advanced glycation end product, or AGE. These AGEs form when sugars react with proteins or fats, a process that happens a lot during industrial food production. Think of the browning on processed snacks. Turns out, the more ultra-processed food people ate, the more NCM showed up in their blood. Makes sense, right? But it's not just about spotting the bad stuff. The test also picked up on the absence of good stuff. For instance, a metabolite derived from veggies like broccoli was lower in people eating lots of junk. So the score reflects the whole dietary pattern, not just what you're eating, but also what you're missing out on. Now here's where it gets really cool. They validated this. They took 20 volunteers who lived at a research center for a month. For 2 weeks, these folks ate a diet that was 80% ultra-processed. Think packaged snacks, ready meals, the works. For another 2 weeks, they ate a diet with 0% ultra-processed foods, all fresh, whole ingredients. Crucially, both diets had the same calories and nutrients. The only difference was the processing. And guess what? The poly-metabolite score changed dramatically within each person, perfectly matching which diet they were on. Even when the same person switched diets, their blood and urine chemistry shifted enough for the score to nail it. It's like each person was their own control group, and the test passed with flying colors. Why is this such a massive deal? Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian, a top nutrition expert, called it a major scientific advance. For decades, nutrition research has been hobbled by relying on what people say they eat. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with half the pieces missing and the other half blurry. This new biochemical test is like switching from an old fuzzy TV signal to crystal clear high definition. It gives scientists a much more accurate measuring stick. They can now go back to huge existing health studies, analyze stored blood and urine samples, and get a clearer picture of who was really eating what and how that truly relates to diseases like obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. And it's not just about better measurement. These molecular fingerprints are giving us clues about why these foods might be harmful. That NCM molecule we talked about? It's already been linked to type 2 diabetes risk, so seeing it higher in junk food eaters suggests one way these diets could be messing with our metabolism, perhaps by increasing those AGEs, which can drive inflammation and insulin resistance. Suddenly, we can see the potential biological pathways. Are certain additives or processing methods creating specific harmful metabolites? Which bits of ultra-processing are the worst offenders? These are questions we can now start to answer. Of course, this is just the beginning. The first study was on older American adults. Will the score work as well in younger people or in different countries with different processed food landscapes? Researchers need to test it in more diverse groups. And could we get even more specific? Maybe one day there will be different scores for different types of ultra-processed foods. Imagine a sugary drink score versus a processed meat score. That's way down the line, but this opens the door. But perhaps the most intriguing question is, what could this mean for you and me, personally? Could your doctor one day give you a junk food score at your annual checkup? It's not that far-fetched. We do it for smoking, measuring cotton to see tobacco use. Getting a number that says your diet is 70% ultra-processed might be a serious wake-up call. Or seeing that number go down after you've made changes could be incredibly motivating. It's a bit like your body keeping a very honest diary, and now science has learned how to read it. This discovery really drives home that old saying, you are what you eat. Except now it's not just a saying, it's a measurable biochemical fact. Every processed snack, every ready meal, it leaves a trace. It's almost like a forensic investigation into your diet, with your blood and urine providing the clues. For those of us trying to eat healthier, it's a kind of validation. For those who indulge, well, your body's chemistry isn't easily fooled. This is more than just a new test. It's potentially a new era for nutritional science. It's about moving from fuzzy estimates to precise measurements, from broad advice to understanding the intricate dance of molecules that connects our food to our health. The ability to objectively measure what we thought was unmeasurable is a huge leap. So as you ponder your next meal, remember, your body is taking notes, right down to the molecular level. What story do you want it to tell? And what other incredible secrets about our biology are just waiting to be uncovered? Stick around, because we'll be diving into the latest discoveries that could change everything.